What's up, guys? I hope you guys are enjoying all the content I'm bringing today. I've been making an awful lot of videos here. This one is PLAN. I've never heard of it. I literally was just looking through a lot of charts last night and trying to find something that looked worth playing. Now, I don't know anything about it, like I said. It seems like it's had a decent amount of bearish price action, though. Looking at it, in this case, we can see that it loves to make rising supports and continue to make potentially lower highs here every time. But ultimately, it likes to make these rising kind of channels here. So, but with that being said, if we look at here on the daily perspective, we could say that it's doing that again. But it might have even broken out of something a lot more bullish than it usually would do. I don't know how we would draw this. I gotta play around a little bit. I would probably consider it. Could we make an ascending triangle out of it? No, but maybe we can make a symmetrical triangle out of it. Kind of. Maybe something like that a little bit. Going off of those 3 wicks down there. And then that touch. That touch. I mean, it could have been drawn like that. But I might be, if I'm too late to the party, then maybe, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would probably stick to this personally, just because it seems like there was we came down here, we had a rising, we continued with making continuation patterns to the downside here. We tapped this area, which the buyers really stepped in, and we've just been on an uptrend here ever since. Whether that's another rising channel or not, either way, we broke bullish out of that area. Now, obviously, we can see that the momentum could be running out here as we're slowly curling over on the MACD on the daily time frame. If we look on the 4-hourly, we can clearly see we're actually about to get a sell signal here. However, I have something potentially bullish here that could be brewing. Not guaranteed. Nothing is ever guaranteed. But we seem to have found a pretty decent support here, roughly around the $66 range. Let's see what it is. And I'll show you exactly why I see that. That's a very, very strong case that this thing could be trying to set up here. Now, not only did we have a double top right here, if we drew a straight line across, we could see, oh, I'm not even close to it. Doom. All right, so we had this double tap right here, right? And it was also this red EMA ribbon. It flipped red right here. We saw a huge price action to the downside after falling out of this rising wedge, or rising channel. We made somewhat of a head and shoulders kind of pattern. But needless to say, we seem to have found ourselves a nice bottom. Short term. Now, the EMA ribbon did flip bullish right here, and we did start to see some resistance and then support on this ribbon right here. That's a very good thing to see. Now, another thing, if we were to just jump right into it, if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can see that in the past, as most uptrends end up doing, it found its support on this red straight line here of Ichimoku cloud, as well as the cloud. We had a fake break here, which was probably the first warning sign, to be honest. A complete rip to the upside, and then a second break here that brought us all the way down. We trended underneath this ribbon. It gave us a lot of resistance underneath all of this old previous resistance here, which was this red line here, roughly $55 at the time. Then we found support on this red spot here, and then we had a nice bounce and rip to the upside. Now, the 4 hour here, if we look at the daily, what are we doing right now? Potentially, and this doesn't have to be, this can be short-lived, but as we see here, we're actually holding support roughly around this $66 range on top of this previous red resistance again. Now this could be a very bullish thing. You know, we seem to have made a potential descending triangle. That's just what I'm going off of right now. There's not too much data here showing me much more than that. You know, that's what I'm finding on the smaller time frames. You know, we could probably say that maybe it could be some kind of I don't know. It's really hard to make a pattern out. There's not too much on the daily here. If we go down to the 1 hour, maybe we can see something a little more clear. I mean, it's pretty obvious here that we had this resistance right here. We'll draw it like that. I think it's probably just going to come out to what we already previously had drawn, like a symmetrical triangle or something like that. And then these recent two touches here, I might have to clean them up a little bit, but these recent two touches right here, pull that out, boom, pull this down, boom. So you can see here that right now we're inside this potential symmetrical triangle. Now this could play out to be some type of head and shoulders pattern that breaks us to the downside, or you know, we could get a rip here, up here, get rejected, come back down, find support again, and then eventually maybe get a rip to the upside as the MACD continues to roll over and all that. But as of right now, as long as we maintain above either this 64.50 area or this daily support. Now there's a downside to it all, is that as we see, while we continue to hold this area, if we continue going sideways here for too long, what happens? We have no floor below us until this lower support that we like to bounce off of down here. So you know, that is a risky kind of position. However, if we get a nice bullish break out of this, this could be a very, very, very big move. So that being said, we kind of want to keep our eyes on it. You know, whether or not we want to buy this right now, it's tough to say, but looking at it right here in the past, this was an area here of the 64.50, 64.60, that in the past here, we didn't have much resistance going up here. We continued up. When we hit this blow off top here, we came down, we couldn't hold it as support, we fell right through the floor. When we came back up, we back tested it as resistance, and we fell through again. We found this upward sloping resistance here, support here, and then we got through this area here with a weekly candle, which could be a weekly breakout of a potential, if we wanted to call it either the ascending, you know, we can either call it an ascending triangle, but there's not too many touch points to call it that, but we could potentially call it like, I don't know if we'd probably go off of that wick there, as that slowed us down 1 week, and or a potential like symmetrical triangle. But either way, depending on how we, you know, it doesn't matter whether we draw it as a symmetrical triangle or ascending wedge. It leads us to the same price target, which roughly brings us to the close to the old peak here of $80. You know, I don't know how it's going to play out, if it's going to play out like this or not, but I am seeing some pretty decent support for a little while here on this Ichimoku cloud. And we really want to see the breakout versus the breakdown, because, you know, a breakdown could end up with a steep drop, because we could just hug this and just fall all the way back down until ultimately we maybe try again. But it is something to keep an eye on here. So let's go down to the 2 hour time frame. We can see we're above all of our support, and we've done nothing but hug this whole area of this cloud right here, this whole way up, which is beautiful. We broke a little bit away from it, but the rounding action that we got here is just insane. So, you know, whether or not we end up making a cup and handle that brings us back down lower or not, That's hard to say. Obviously, we're just starting here. If we were to stay sideways here, if we did lose the 66, we still have very, very good support here, thankfully, at the 64.50 and as low as the 61.95 to $62 range. But as of right now, it looks like our 2-hour MACD is potentially trying to, not really yet, but we got to bounce on the RSI. We got to bounce on the 1 hour here. We're looking like we could start to roll up, but it's still a little early. If I flip down to the smaller time frames here, we got a cross so far on the 30-minute, but it's not that powerful of a cross, which looks like we might roll over going all the way down. So, it's going to take a little bit of time to chop in here, but it's just something that I'm keeping my eye on. I have no idea what this is, but I do see this very, very powerful move through all of this, and it is pretty convincing to me that whether or not this turns out to be some kind of symmetrical triangle, or if it turns out to be just something here, we want to watch it. And what are the resistance levels that we're looking at? I mean, really, we just need to break above the $69 range and hold above it, and we should start to see some bullish price action. So, it's just something I spotted, and the main reason, like I said, that I spotted it is because this resistance here was clear resistance. And look what happened last time we got above it. I know it's hard to see because there's a lot of things in the way. If I hide the ribbon here, this this is the red Ichimoku cloud here. It's jotted right across here, and this is what we did last time on it. We chopped right on it, held support, held support, held support, blast to the upside, blast to the upside, and then a complete drop. So what are we doing now? We're starting to chop a little bit on here. Like I said, the only concerning part to me is that this red cloud only stretches so far for about 10 more days or so. 10 to 12 more days is where it stretches to. So we have that amount of time to figure out what we're going to do. So if we just continue to kind of chop here and get a blast up, that would be excellent. If we chop here and turn into something else, then we might have to look at some lower targets. But just keep an eye on it. I'm just going to do that for now. And what do you guys? Let me know what you guys think about this. If you guys are interested in this, or if you think that it's only pumped for a certain reason. I don't know anything about the news, anything about anything. So I'm just watching it, as it looks like it could be a weekly breakout here, which might be worth trying. But yeah, with that being said, hope you guys have a good day. Good luck with your trades. Peace.